you're watching on demand, please check the closing time before trying to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, Nadia Sawala, Sunetra Sarkar, Judy Love, and Kelly Holmes.
We were feeling sexy. Hello and welcome to your final Loose Women of the Week. And as that song suggests, we got a very saucy Friday afternoon for you. We're meeting the mysterious woman whose sexploits have inspired this summer's raunchiest bonkbuster. Oh, I love that word. I don't know, a bonkbuster. Oh, yeah. But exactly who is the secret socialite? All will be revealed later. And no, it's not Judy. She would love it to be, wouldn't you? Also, from baby news to birthday presents. Can you ever forgive somebody who gives you a bad reaction? And on a topic that's very close to my heart, model and designer Pearl Lowe will be opening up about her life-changing ADHD diagnosis at age 52 and finally finding the answers to so many questions she's had all her life. Now, it's the day lots of film fans have been waiting for. The release of two of this year's biggest movies, Barbie, a film about a beloved childhood toy, and Oppenheimer, a film about the creation of the atomic bomb. Now, so many people, I know, I love it. Many are planning to see both on the same day, and film fans have even merged the two together to create the term Barbenheimer. and I have to say, I texted my husband, I don't know, 9:30 this morning. He was in the cinema watching Oppenheimer.
This morning?
This morning.
Wow.
And then my daughter, we're real movie fans, so we are so excited about all this. So I saw Barbie a couple of days ago, and my daughter's watching the two together today.
Wow.
So what do you feel? Can you feel the buzz? Is cinema back, Judy?
Cinema has never gone anywhere in my eyes. I love a cinema. But my gosh, have we gone crazy for Barbie?
Yes.
Barbie is everywhere. I feel Barbie'd out. I mean, I even got an email from an estate agent saying 5 dream Barbie homes for you. I'm like, what's going on? Like, it's so much. Everything is Barbie. People stopping me about my nails, are they Barbie? And I'm like, no, I didn't really grow up with Barbie. Like, Barbie was there, but I was like, Barbie, you don't look like me. Do you know what I mean?
But she had a nice house.
She had a nice house. But the thing is, when you think about it, I think she was a little bit of a feminist because she had a good house, she had a nice house, she had her own car, she had her own business. So Barbie was working something, OK? Ken was just on the sideline. But in all honesty, I say I'm Barbie'd out, but I think I'm going to go and see the show.
Oh, God, go and see it. I went to see it. And, you know, it's Greta Gerwig is the director. She's a brilliant director. And it is a feminist film, but it's huge fun.
Well, you've sold it to me,
Yeah.
and also Greta, because I think that's the thing for me. Cinema, I mean, I'm an actress, I love movies, and I'll go anywhere to see them, but I think in our generation, cinemas were about the stars, go to see, you know, Tom Cruise or Meryl Streep or, you know, the big names always did films. Now they've come to TV, we've gone, oh, we can watch our big movie stars on the small screen. So now they have to up the game to get us to the cinema, I think, and they have to make it the biggest musical or the biggest extravaganza. Visually, it's got to be...
And that's what it is.
I think it's a visual extravaganza. Like, they've spent millions and trillions on this film, apparently, so it's got to live up to the hype.
And talking about extravaganza, one of our followers, Ninad, thank you so much, did this photo. Can we see it, of me and Marcus? That's my husband.
Wow.
That's Ken, and that's me. Now, thank you, Ninad. Ryan Gosling... Oh, my God, he's amazing. Would you go to both? Are you going to go? Are you going to see them both?
Well, before all the hype, I wouldn't see him Barbie. I was a soldier, you know what I mean? And now it's so hyped up, like, one niece is going today, the next niece is going tomorrow. I'm like, I've got to see it now, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've got to join in with the craze. I love the craze. The PR is obviously brilliant because no one has been to cinemas for years, have they? You know what I mean? It has been something that we've we go to theatre more, or like you say, you can see all these films on television.
Yeah.
But I think the hype, the PR is amazing, so I'm going to have to go now, aren't I, in my pink outfit?
Absolutely. And if you go, Sinatra, make sure you go to Oppenheimer in the morning with coffee, Barbie in the evening with a cocktail.
Wow, is that the order? Is that the right order?
And this Barbenheimer has also kicked off a new kind of dating of everything. You know,
Frenzy.
A dating frenzy where people are being encouraged to date the complete opposite of the person they would usually date. So give me your opposites. Who do you usually date? What would be the complete...
I like confident, like bags of personality and creative men.
So who are you going to go out with instead?
I mean, I don't know. I might as well turn up with Stephen Fry or something. That's kind of...
He's gay.
Not that he's not creative and stuff, but he's just more quiet, isn't he? He seems confident, but he's
I think you
quiet.
might be about to choose somebody that's straight, though.
That would
You
help,
don't have
wouldn't
to
it?
go that off.
Opposite are we talking? We're in the world of opposites. I mean, I feel like everybody tries different kinds of personalities and styles as they're growing up. So I think we might have all you have to know what you don't like. You almost need to know.
We want as opposite,
right?
We want as opposite as Barbie and the creation of the nuclear bomb.
wow.
So it's got to be that opposite.
Do you know what would really bother me, though, is if somebody... I got into a friend's husband's car, he was giving me a lift, and he put whatever music had been on in his car came on, and it was grunge metal. And I just remember thinking, I see you in a completely different light, and I don't know if I could sit in a car with someone who didn't want to listen to the same music as me. I think if somebody was that opposite in their musical taste, which is a really, like, it's a luxurious, like, quality that you add onto a list, but it would matter a lot, you know.
Hard metal going
But
on.
it's just
they were doing
about
heavy
that's all their whole
headbanging.
life, doesn't it?
Yeah, I could have someone that
My
couldn't hold a
R&B soul
personality.
ain't gonna work with a headbanger.
might be.
You know what I mean?
Someone who couldn't hold a conversation. You know, you get people that are very like, no, I'm fine with you talking. I'm good with talking. So I need you to be involved in this conversation. Okay.
What about you, Ken? What sort of woman would you go for?
Oh, gosh. Oh, it'd have to be somebody that's probably athletic, in the public eye, of colour. It'd be complete opposite.
Complete opposite.
Complete opposite. Like
What would-
Denise
what
Lewis,
would-
but she's not gay.
Yeah,
But you
she's
know what I mean?
lovely.
It's like...
Gorgeous.
Everyone I've been out
So
with
you've
have
never
been white.
dated someone who's into sport?
No, not from, like, an athletic type
Given
thing.
that you're such a high end of Olympic
People who have
athlete.
done sport, but not like me, high level.
What would
that's all they
worry you about
focus.
that, then, if you did...
Too competitive. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
You know, I'm so competitive about everything, a board game. I mean, can you imagine like that? We'd be at loggerheads.
I understand.
mean,
I'm not dating a
I couldn't do
comedian.
it.
I wouldn't date a comedian. I
Well,
hear what
yeah,
you're
exactly,
saying.
right?
Why?
I'd bust a joke and he'd be like, yeah, I was thinking that as well. I was like, not today.
Actually, when you're in a room with comedians, it is more competitive, I think, than even gold medalists.
No,
I agree.
No, because you're really
You're
quick.
the top, man. You're the top, so they'd have to come proper.
Oh, they wouldn't
for
they?
my
Wouldn't they?
girls.
No, but you know me, I am quite a reserved sort of person. I do like to listen to
No,
others.
you're not.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's anything
With
with
you
that.
lot. I mean, I don't get a word in edgeways.
This is getting shady like Love Island.
All right. Calm down, girls. Right, aside from the cinema, this weekend, lots of us will be tuning into the Women's World Cup with the Lionesses' first game kicking off tomorrow morning at 10:30 against Haiti. Now, we heard a little bit, didn't we, of the new Lioness anthem this morning. But do you fancy a listen? Yeah, okay. What's this one?
England, history makers, record breakers, game changers. Woke up in the night, I was dreaming of the red and the white. I could see it, thousands in the stands, all waving their hands, ready for the beautiful game.
That's my scene there. What do you think, Chief?
It sounds very Barbie. I feel very light and
a bit
happy.
Christmassy.
But I want to go and thump up a ball and thing.
I feel like it's lacking a little bit of oomph, you know, like the way the boys had that kind of raw, like
What's a football song you like?
You know the anthem. I mean, I would have loved like Lady Leisha or Jill Scott doing a bit of a rap. You know the way that John Barnes did in the.
What do you know the rap?
You know,
I don't know it.
you do know it. Of course you know.
Go on, give us a
You know
blast.
it. Right? Come on, you know.
I've never heard it.
Come on. When he sang like. Catch me if you can, 'cause I'm the England man. And what you're looking at is a master plan. These ain't no hooligans. This ain't a football song. 3 lions on my chest. You know we can't go. We're playing for England.
Wow! Don't you love it when you find out new things about these women?
We all should know that rap. That's all I should say.
Sorry, I think that was only me. Right, now, in just a moment, Dame Kelly will be sharing the very emotional story of her time in the army that ended with her in the House of Commons this week. And she's a bit like me. After Pearl Lowe was diagnosed with ADHD in her 50s, we'll be asking her how life has changed since her diagnosis and how she believes it could be related to her previous addictions. See you soon.
It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I wanna take my clothes off. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your
Welcome back. Still to come. It's getting hot in the studio today as we meet the mysterious woman behind this summer's sexiest read. But just exactly who is the secret socialite? Competition time now, and your chance to win a massive £90,000. Woo! Jean Johansson has all the details.
Hello and welcome to Cellardyke on the east coast of Scotland. It's the perfect backdrop to give you the chance to win our fabulous Summer Sizzler cash prize.
Yes, one of you could soon be splashing the cash with an enormous £90,000 dropping into your account. Just imagine what you could do with that extra money.
Definitely spend some of it taking up some new hobbies, which is exactly what I'm doing here at East Neuk Outdoors. I'm a bit of a novice, Mike. Is this for me?
This is yours, Jean.
All right, let's get in.
Just imagine what £90,000 could do for you and your family this year.
It is a huge amount of money. It's like getting £7,500 in your account every month for an entire year. Not bad, eh, Mike?
Sounds great.
And remember, we have a guaranteed winner for every prize, and this time, it could be you. For another chance to win, text cash to 83123. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 783123. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY29 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close Friday 25th of August at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Now, it's been an emotional week for Kelly, who was in Parliament on Wednesday to hear an apology from the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, for the historic ban that disallowed and even punished LGBT people serving in the military. Let's take a look.
The ban on LGBT people serving in our military until the year 2000 was an appalling failure of the British state, decades behind the law of this land. Today, on behalf of the British state, I apologise. And I hope all those affected will be able to feel proud parts of the veteran community that has done so much to keep our country safe.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
I just got goosebumps again there for you, Kelly, and for all the other people involved. Just tell people, what was he apologising? What was done?
OK, so I've got to take a deep breath, because I get quite anxious and emotional, and then I go... Blah, 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 blah. So, the apology was for... There was a ban in place between 1967 and 2000 for any people serving personnel that was LGBT. Now, some people might say, why did you join? A lot of people didn't know they were gay because, of course, they joined at 16, 17, 18. That's the first thing. What happened is during that time, there was a witch hunt at certain periods of time during those years where they were purposefully going into barracks and trying to find people that were considered possibly to be gay.
Right. And that happened to you?
Yeah, so
Very
what
scary.
happened, so an example of that is from my level right up, I was raided, which means the Royal Military Police would come into my private space, my bedroom, ransack it completely, be intimidating, interrogating in my face, belittling. I was scared. I was 23.
You were young, yeah.
I was 23. I was petrified. I didn't want to lose my career.
They were just looking for anything that could lead them to...
Like, literally anything. So I, for example, letters from my sister and friend, I had to hide in the back of my car because they could have accused me of being gay. Now, just because... I only realised I was gay when I joined. You know, I wasn't even seeing anyone at the time of that raid. But, so what went from that is that, for me personally, caused me mental health issues throughout my whole career because I was so petrified that it was institutionally driven into me about, you know, that shame. Hence why I didn't come out till last year. But from that, you've had others that were bullied, sexually assaulted, raped, in jail, long service medals ripped off of them. They lost their careers, pensions.
And what we've got to remember, at this point, it was legal outside of the services.
In 67, it was lifted, yet it was still in the services. So you've got... This has affected 20,000 service personnel, people even that were on the front line protecting our country and risking their lives if they were found out to be gay. Or, from one example, in my documentary last year, Kelly Holmes and Me, I had a girl, and I will mention her because she said I could, Emma Riley, and she was a Navy. She joined when she was 18, and she basically wasn't even gay. She'd never had a relationship, and she said to her best friend one night, I think I might be gay or have, you know, not to her, just generally. The next morning, she was ripped out of her bunk. She was arrested. She was interrogated. She was told she was going to lose her career. She had to go back to her family and out herself. And she hadn't even... She wasn't
They
even...
made her do that.
That doesn't even make
sense. They made her do it.
No.
You had padres, so padres, people that you confess to or just...
Yeah.
Go into the officer commands the next day and telling them, and then they get out. Medical people examining, which was sexual abuse.
So they would say that you need a full medical...
But it wasn't. It was about abusing somebody who was gay. Remember, men and women. Remember, this is men and women. So what this has led to, of course, is years and years of suffering, because people were homeless, lost all pensions, career opportunities, just life, self-esteem. And so what happened was last year, a report was commissioned, LGBT Veterans Independent Review, led by Lord Efferton. And in this book, which was finally, after a year, and thank you to Loose Women, because I was able to do a call-out to get veterans to come forward. Over 1,000 veterans came forward with their testimony, which became part of the review paper. This was delivered to the government in May. What people have to understand is this is historic. The Prime Minister doesn't apologise for anything, let's face it, right?
Yeah,
Firstly, that was thing.
Huge.
And then...
It's a big deal, big deal.
So I got to go to the House of Commons with 20 other veterans. We were representing those 1,000 plus and the 20,000. Obviously, we heard the Prime Minister's apology, and then we heard the Secretary of State of the Defence, Ben Wallace's apology, which was very heartfelt, and I'm going to say this because he'd also been in a career. He apologised for not really understanding what it meant.
Because when he was an officer.
When he was an officer in the thing. So...
that is amazing.
So basically, from that, this report has been made. 49 recommendations have gone into it. It's harrowing. Like, I'm glossing over the extent of what happened to a lot of veterans. Now, this could be your mum, dad, your nan, granddad, still alive to this day, who went through it and will not tell you about it because it's so bad. 49 recommendations. One was we wanted a state apology. We got it.
Great.
So you've got number one. We've got number one. Listen, Kelly,
Sorry, just very quickly, the others they're things like giving medical support, giving housing, pensions back, medals back. And do you know what? It's now the start of people rebuilding lives.
Wow. Well, you know what? Congratulations.
They've got to do it.
Congratulations, because you fought hard, and we were, as I said this morning, all horribly shocked that had gone on. So, congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Now, after the break, a discussion that's close to my heart. Interior designer and author Pearl Lowe will be opening up about her life-changing ADHD diagnosis in her 50s. See you in a moment.
She kick-started her career as the bubbly blonde from Barry Island.
All right, what's occurring?
Joanna Page joins us live on Loose Women. She'll be telling us how she's all fired up cooking in a star-studded kitchen.
Oh, no!
And why she made an important decision about her family life. Joanna Page, Tuesday at 12:30.
Welcome back to your Friday Loose Women Live. Keeping you company for the next half an hour, it's Julie Love, Dame Kelly Holmes, Sinatra Soccer, and me, Nadia Sawala. Still to come, can you ever forgive somebody's bad reaction to your good news? Kelly got really annoyed about this morning. Very rageable. And her identity is top secret, but she'll be right here. We're meeting the woman behind this summer's sauciest read, who goes by the name of the Secret Socialite. Now, talking of socialites, our first guest was part of a 90s group led by Kate Moss and Sadie Frost, who were famous for their somewhat wild lifestyles. Now 18 years sober.
Yeah.
She's a very successful interior designer and author. And just last year, she had another huge life change when she discovered in her 50s that she has ADHD. Here to tell us more, please welcome Pearl Lowe. So lovely to have you here. This is the thing, isn't it? So many more women are getting diagnosed in later life.
I know.
It's just not picked up.
I know, it's mental. I mean, I didn't think I had it. I was just so shocked. I just did this kind of online quiz, like, and I just was like, and then I came up, we got all our results back, and I was like, oh, my God. It actually says I shouldn't live at home, like, on my own. You know, I was like, oh, no, what am I going to do? Anyway, it's quite nuts because it led me to this diagnosis, which has been completely life-changing.
Because that's just an initial assessment, isn't it? You can do online to see if you're showing symptoms, and then you went and had the full diagnosis.
Yeah.
But in typical ADHD way, it took you 3 years to do the next bit. Because that's one of the ADHD symptoms, isn't it? That organisation is incredibly difficult.
It's a really slow process as well. I mean, there's such a long NHS waiting list that a lot of people just think, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
You know, so
was it fair or was it organisation? Was it?
I actually went to in the end because it took so long to get a diagnosis. I ended up paying privately, which is so expensive, and it's really unfair as well because actually it's been incredible ever since, and I'm so happy that I went and did it because it's been.
What did it feel like when you were diagnosed? Because you are utterly brilliant. To stay sober for 18 years is incredibly difficult, one day at a time. And I certainly know, my husband has ADHD and 18 years sober too. And when we were both diagnosed, we went to this place of just trying to track everything in our life, looking for were these answers to those questions. Did you have that?
Yeah,
feeling?
I mean, God, it was a revelation in a way because you look back at your life and you're like, okay, I'm so impulsive and I've made so many, I don't know, bad choices in my life, and I've kind of they say that you leave a massive amount of destruction. And that's kind of what I do. Our life is chaotic and our family life is crazy, but it's fun, but it's, it's quite hairy at times. And I think that now, having had the diagnosis, I really think before I do things, because I used to be so impulsive. Yeah. And I'd think later, and then I'd be like, oh, no,
Well,
this is living in the moment. Isn't that what we were kind of taught to, like, live in the moment, you know, life's too short, just go for it. I mean, there is a kind of philosophy that we see as a positive thing going, just do it, how brave, aren't you wonderful? So I can understand the conflict sometimes of thinking I'm too impulsive and is that ADHD? And I wondered, I was listening to what you said and I wondered if some of the symptoms may have been similar to perimenopausal or menopausal because of some of the things you mentioned, like brain fog and things like that, I would have naturally maybe gone more towards the hormonal reason.
Well, that's why women apparently are far less diagnosed than men because apparently we have so many things like premenstrual tension, then we have post, you know, we have a baby and then we have postnatal depression and then we have perimenopausal, then we have, you know, obviously you go through the menopause. So it's harder to diagnose than men. And also it's something that I've really found out. I've been reading so much about it and apparently, you know, addiction is so high within ADHD sufferers. So a lot of people can't stay sober because they're not treating the ADHD, they're treating the addiction. And actually they're really closely linked because
going to that need for impulsive and dangerous acts.
Exactly. Or we self-medicate through drugs, alcohol, shopping, food, whatever it is, we kind of, you know, we go off and we try and get as much, you know, for relief as we possibly can, which is,
When you was a child, when you was a child, looking back now, reflecting now that you've been diagnosed, you know, in your 50s, I'm dyslexic. And when I was a kid, I didn't even know what that was, but I knew that something wasn't right. And unfortunately, my mum didn't pick it up because it was something that wasn't discussed in school. What was it like for you when you reflect back now?
Well, that's exactly the same. I was kind of, I think I baffled my mum and dad because I was, you know, sort of top in history and English, the things I loved. And then I would fail in maths and physics and chemistry and things like that.
And in fact, with diagnosis, they ask to look at your school report. Because there's such a pattern that will go through. So when people say, oh, ADHD, oh, well, you're a bit chaotic. No, this can affect your full life path, whether you get a proper education, whether you might turn to addiction, whether your menopause. Menopause for women with ADHD can be really...
brutal.
So it's
absolutely brutal. But I mean, I just went on HRT straight away because I was like, I know. And actually, I felt so much better having done that. But it is crazy. And I'm so pleased I did. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because a lot of my friends say, oh, I'm in my 50s, I can't be bothered to get a diagnosis. And I'm like, no, you've got to.
What made you go online, though? What made you actually do that test?
I think I was just... It was in lockdown, and me and my husband were just... I thought, oh, you've definitely got it, to my husband. It was like, there's no way, because he's got the actual... Like, he's so hyperactive. He's a drummer, and he stands on the spot, and he's always, like, on the phone, he runs around, do you know what I mean? And then... But I'm not. Like, so my kids were like, you haven't got it. You're so laid back, Mum. You lie on the sofa, you know... But
that's
actually...
a big misconception, you see. A lot of people can be very still with it.
Yeah, so actually, I've got it more than he has. You know, I don't think he has.
Well, they say you're attracted to other ADHDers.
Yeah.
Because there's this inherent... Oh, I know, you're a bit like me.
Something else. So I did an interview with Rory Bremner. He got diagnosed at 50. And what I found really shocking is that he said he was then kind of questioning his career prior to that diagnosis. Was he as good as he was? Was he that type of comedian, stand-up comic? But do you ever doubt anything beforehand or question yourself or think you're going to do something different going forward? How do you feel?
So many things. I've got my, you know, everyone always says that about me, like I've got my finger in so many different pies. And I was a singer, but I really hated singing. I loved singing, but I just hated the whole process of it, like getting on a tour bus with loads of blokes, you know, turning up at venues which were really ugly. And I was like completely in the wrong career. And it wasn't until I got into designing that I was like, oh, I can create beauty everywhere. Like now I design dresses and all sorts of things. And I love it so much.
Got a great eye.
No, but it's so
you really have.
But I never thought that's what I spent years doing the wrong thing. And then as soon as I got into designing, I was like, oh, my God, this is amazing.
But doesn't that involve some organisation? Because, you know, when you
the
say...
medication helps with that because executive thinking that you don't have with ADHD because of the lack of dopamine. So that's why the diagnosis, whether you have medication or whether you have counselling on it, really can change your life.
Oh, my God, so much. And if you don't want to go on the medication, there's lots of other things like lion's mane. And, you know, I read this amazing book which really helped me because I felt really sorry for myself when I first got the diagnosis. I was like, poor me, going through life all these years, like struggling without any help. But actually, having it has been amazing because I've been looking at all these other things and I've been reading this book, The Drummer and the Great Mountain, and it's it's so lovely to, you know, read it through the eyes of someone who's been diagnosed later in life. And anyway, I think that's what I want.
And of course, that
well.
ADHD, the incredible creative person that you are, you know, it's very ADHD, isn't it?
It is.
So there's positives and negatives always. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Pearl.
thank you for having me
Thank you,
on.
and your new
anyway.
book's out soon, new interior design book. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you. It's so lovely to meet you.
And if you have any suspicions yourself that you may have ADHD, just consult your GP first of all. Now, after the break, we're asking, can you ever forgive somebody's bad reaction to your good news? And move over 50 Shades of Grey. The secret socialite is in town with a brand new bonkbuster. Judy, would you care to take us into the break with a little taster?
Of course. His tongue brushed over her lips. She moved her body instinctively into his. They were an exact fit. They were wet, fully clothed, and she could feel his huge...
Still to come, from receiving baby news to getting birthday presents. Can you ever forgive somebody for reacting badly to something? But first, this could be Loose Women's sauciest interview ever. Whoa. Our next guest, who goes by the pen name The Secret Socialite, has released this summer's raciest read. It's called Naked in Mayfair and follows the shocking sexploits of a newly divorced woman with some of London's wealthiest men, based on her own life. I can tell you, we haven't got a word out of Judy all through makeup this morning. She doesn't stop reading it.
Juicy. It is juicy.
Juicy. But who is this mysterious author? Well, she's here, but she's keeping her identity a secret, so we just have her behind this.
Wow.
No peeking. Ellie's being very naughty and peeking.
I am. She's pretty sexy. That's all I'm going to say.
And we are going to call you Ava. And I have to say it's been quite a palaver getting you in today because you are so anxious about being seen. There was smuggling you in. There was all sorts of things going on. Why are you so afraid?
I don't think I'm... By the way, first of all, I'd like to say hello and thank you for inviting me on the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I don't think I'm afraid, but as a mother of 2 children and somebody who's been in finance for many, many years, it was important for me to protect the identity of the men in the book and also out of respect to my family, to keep my identity secret.
What is it? Everything that's in the book, and as I say, Judy's been sweating all morning. Have you done everything that's in the book?
Well, like all good authors, I think you write what you know.
Yeah.
And certainly I'm inspired by real-life events. I'm also inspired by seeing other women around me who are above 40, who are getting divorced and who have now an opportunity to reinvent themselves and find love again second time around.
Do you know what? I love that about you, Ava, what you said. And reading the book, I'm going to be honest, literally page 2, the sauce and the juice was there. And I love that you get straight to it because how do you feel about the fact, I think that society projects that women are quite sexually oppressed. Like, we're kind of put in a box on how we're supposed to be desired and what we want for our pleasure. Is that something that you faced, why you really wanted to write this book?
Well, I think what's really interesting is that sex is absolutely everywhere in our society. We use it to sell beer, we use it to sell shampoo, and yet sex is still very much a taboo topic, and we never really talk about it. And I think through the ages, since millennia, there's been this Madonna whore complex, which Freud talked about, and you're either one or the other. So if you're the Madonna, you're the mother, you're quite saintly, you're untouchable, and you're very, very respected, but you're not very desired. And if you're the whore, or what I prefer to call a bombshell, you're very, very desirable, you love sex, and yet you're not very respected by society.
Yeah,
and I think
you're really right about the fact that that is something that we have noticed as we get older. We have to choose our box so to speak. Do you find, considering you've also explored the men that you've had these relationships with and who you write about, that the men also have those similar like-for-like boxes, or do you think they can get away with maybe more than women of that age?
I think sexuality for men is different. It's about virility, it's about being out there and being Jack the Lad. And I think for women, it's far harder to navigate. And what I tried to show with the book is what can a healthy sexuality look like? And I think maybe some people might say that some of the things in the book are quite extreme, but I wanted to really start a conversation about what sex is like second time around. And I think after 40, you have a bit more confidence than at 20. Yeah. And you've got a real chance to redefine what your objectives are and what you're looking for in life.
Which was, it was kind of the catalyst for you to write this book, wasn't it? Your divorce. You've described yourself, I'm looking at, she's a bombshell, I have to say. Yeah. But you described yourself in your 20s as mousy and you were quite shy. And what was it? Where did this rebirthing come from?
Well, genuinely came through pain. And I started writing the book through pain because, for me, the divorce was a failure. But I'm a very positive person. I always like to see the bright side of things. And I wanted the book to be fun and racy and affirmative. And it's a chance, really, to redefine your goals. And I wanted to turn something that was negative, which is a divorce, into something positive. And also to be strong for my children and to show them that I could pull through this and find love again.
Because it's only your children, if I'm right, and your ex-husband that know your identity, is that right?
Yes.
So your friends...
Oh, my God. Kelly now, but you can't stop the camera.
Can I just ask one other thing? So do none of your friends in the banking world that know you and your friends, do they think you're at home, like, doing the gardening while you're actually writing this saucy...
She's doing the gardening, but it's just a different kind of gardening.
Yeah, and also, like, you've done this book, so you got divorced, you've completely reinvented your life, and 50 Shades of Grey, like, I'm real prudish, but this book is, like, taking it to another level. Was this sort of preempted in your change and your transition, or, like, how did you get to going from this to that?
Well, I think the title of the book is Naked in Mayfair, and it can be interpreted on several levels. So there's a lot of sex, it's very erotic, it's a sexy summer read. But for me, being naked is the precursor to finding love, which is you can only really find love if you're vulnerable and you need to connect on a deep, intimate level, and that's about being naked emotionally.
So would you say that you love your body? Because there's a lot of women that always doubt ourselves, don't like what we see in the mirror. Have you got to a point in life where you love yourself?
I would struggle to point to one woman who has reached that point.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's the top of the mountain. Well, listen, thank you so much, Ava, for coming in. I might need to... Can we put this away? Otherwise, we won't have Judy concentrate for the rest of the show. Thank you so much, and good luck, and lovely to kind of see you. Right, competition time again, and your chance to win £90,000. Jean Johansson has all the details.
Hello and welcome to the east coast of Scotland. This is the stunning village of Anstruther, and I'm here to tell you about a sizzling summer cash prize.
Yes, one of you at home is guaranteed to win. Get ready for this. £90,000 in tax-free cash.
Just imagine what you would do with all that cash. And while I enjoy the very famous Anstruther fish and chips, here's what some of you would do with the money.
Treat my mum to a new car. I'd go on holiday with my partner and treat her. I'd get a new car myself and probably a down payment on a house.
You're really using that 90 grand?
It'll be all gone quickly.
Why not?
I know.
It would just be amazing. It would give me so many opportunities to grow my current business that I've got and open up some more cafes and things like that, so yeah.
There is a guaranteed winner for every prize, but you have to enter to be in with a chance of winning that £90,000. So what are you waiting for?
For another chance to win, text cash to 83123. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 783123. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY29, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close Friday 25th of August at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Right, so this husband has gone viral on social media after being exposed for his loud and somewhat panicked reaction to his wife telling him she's pregnant with her 4th child. The video has divided people, and that's probably because she's filming him. She put the envelope on the bed. She's got no idea. He opens it, no idea it's being filmed. It's a pregnancy test saying positive, and he just keeps screaming, "No! No! Tell me you're joking! Oh, my God!" And she's like, "Oh, OK." Apparently it was all fine in the end, and the child is a blessing and all of that. But...
Wow. That's extreme.
But Mark and I were talking about this, and I said, actually, I wasn't too pleased with your reactions. And he said, yeah, but you've got all this time to process it, think about it, and then you just bomb me with it, and I've suddenly got to process the stuff and then give you the right reaction. And it's actually true, because usually before you're waiting for a reaction for anything, you've sort of worked out what you want from it. So,
I mean, forget pregnancy. I'm like that with presents. People don't react the way that I expect them to react when I give them a thoughtful gift. But I'm like watching for that reaction. I'll be like, especially with the kids, I'll be like, you didn't give me the right reaction. I'll have that iPad. You know what I mean? Like, I was going to say, I would put a kind of hard rule on that, because I think it is important to show gratitude, or to, even if, I mean, it is different with pregnancy.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a huge life-changing decision.
But we don't give them time to process it.
But I do think reactions do matter, because I do watch some friends have different ways on how they gauge their thanks or their expression, and I think I really respond well to good expression.
Do you think this is partly because you're an actress?
Yeah, I do.
You can find it.
At the theatre, can I just tell you one time we were at the theatre, and it was the most amazing show we were watching. People, places, things. It was outstanding acting, and then it was the half-time interval, and people was clapping at the interval, like standing up, and Scott was just like that. And I went, clap, clap. He went, I'm just still digesting it. And I was like, no, clap, digest it. I don't want them to think you're not enjoying it. I mean, I have that fear, yeah.
What about you?
I'm the same with presents. So I've got quite a big family, and sometimes don't get to see them all, lots of nieces and nephews, and it's one of my nephew's birthday, and I thought, what can I do when I can bring them together? I never pay 300 quid, like 300 quid for a present.
She's getting really angry.
Yeah, because I was going to, they can all go to this pottery place. I thought, nice present. So I went round there. I've got all the little tea and all of that. Like, he's opening his present. I won't say his name. Here you go, blah, blah, blah. It's all in a nice envelope. And he looked at it, he went, oh, thanks, and then put it down. I was like...
Rude. So I think you've answered the question there. You are unable to forgive.
No, literally, I didn't forgive him at all. I was just so mortified.
What about you, Jude?
Like, do you know what? For me, it's more about when I've got good news and you tell somebody, you know, a new job, or you're dating someone new, and the reaction is so, like, Nick. It's just like, oh, OK. And I just think to yourself, you realise... My thing is I sit back and I think, OK, I realise you are someone who has the lack of compassion. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? You can't just be happy for mine or somebody else's joy. And I'm just like, thank you.
The joy, just pure joy for somebody else's joy.
That's it. That's all you got to do. You know what I mean?
She's on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Because that's all we've got time for this afternoon. We're back on Tuesday next week, where we'll be joined by Gavin and Stacey, star Joanna Page. Good luck to the Lions. This is tomorrow morning. You can watch My TV 10:30. Bye.
Thank you.